Imagine walking through a Danish peat bog in 1950, cutting through the earth for fuel, when suddenly your spade strikes something soft. You brush away the dark peat, expecting to find a root or stone, but instead, you're staring into the face of a man. Not bones, not a skull, a face, with skin so perfectly preserved you can see his wrinkles, his closed eyelids, even his stubbled chin. Around his neck, a braided rope. Tight, deliberate. This is the moment that changed archaeology forever. Because this man, Tollund Man, wasn't just dead. He was murdered, and he wasn't alone. But before we dive into this 2,400-year-old murder mystery that will make you question everything you thought you knew about ancient civilizations, I need you to do something. See that subscribe button? Hit it, because what you're about to discover isn't just history. It's a thriller that puts modern crime shows to shame. And if this story gives you chills like it did me, smash that like button and tell me in the comments. Would you have had the courage to be a bog sacrifice? Now, let's uncover the truth behind the most haunting faces in archaeological history. May 6, 1950. Viggo and Emil Hodggaard are doing what their ancestors have done for generations, cutting peat from Jailskovdal bog in Denmark. It's backbreaking work, but peat burns well, and in post-war Europe, fuel is precious. The brothers work methodically, slicing through layers of time itself. Each cut goes deeper into the past, 10 years, 100 years, 1,000 years. Then Emil's spade hits something different, something that shouldn't be there. They call the police immediately, because what they've found looks like a recent murder victim. The preservation is so perfect, so eerily lifelike, that investigators initially treat it as a modern crime scene. The rope around the neck is their first clue. This was no natural death. But then the archaeologists arrive, and what they discover changes everything. The peat bog hasn't just preserved a body, it's preserved a moment. A moment from 400 BC, when this man took his last breath. His fingerprints are still visible. His hair, his skin, even the contents of his stomach. And that expression on his face? It's not the look of terror you'd expect from a murder victim. It's peaceful, almost serene. They named him Tollund Man, after the nearest village. But as more bog bodies are discovered across northern Europe, a terrifying pattern emerges. The finds come in waves over the following decades. Tollund Man, found just 2 years later, also in Denmark. His throat had been cut so violently it nearly severed his head. The Winterby girl from Germany, though later discovered to be a boy, blindfolded and drowned. The Clonachaven man from Ireland, his hair still styled with ancient gel made from plant resin. Each body tells the same story: violent death, ritual positioning, and preservation that defies belief. But it's when scientists examine how they died that the true horror emerges. Take Tollund Man. The rope around his neck isn't just any rope. It's carefully braided from 2 types of leather, created specifically for this purpose. The knot sits precisely under his left ear, positioned to cause maximum damage. He was hanged, but that's not all. His skull shows evidence of blunt force trauma. He was beaten, and traces in his lungs suggest he may have drowned as well. This wasn't just murder, it was ritualistic overkill. A triple death. But here's where it gets truly unsettling. Analysis of his stomach contents reveals his last meal, a gruel made from barley, linseed, and dozens of different seeds. Many of these seeds were from plants that don't grow in winter. They had to be carefully stored and saved. This wasn't a random meal. It was ceremonial. The evidence points to one terrifying conclusion. These people knew they were going to die. They participated in their own execution. They ate the ritual meal, walked to the bog, and accepted their fate. But why? What could drive an entire civilization to practice human sacrifice on this scale? The answer lies in the bogs themselves. To the ancient Celts, Germans, and other northern European tribes, bogs weren't just wetlands. They were gateways to the underworld, places where the boundary between life and death grew thin. Archaeological evidence suggests these sacrifices followed a pattern tied to the seasons. Many bog bodies date to times of crisis, crop failures, harsh winters, military defeats. When the natural order seemed to collapse, when the gods appeared angry, the most desperate measures were required. But these weren't random victims. Forensic analysis reveals something extraordinary about many bog people. Their hands are soft, uncalloused. Their fingernails are manicured. These were high-status individuals, possibly priests, nobility, or even kings. The ancient historian Tacitus wrote about Germanic tribes who would sacrifice their rulers during times of crisis, believing that royal blood was the most powerful offering to appease angry gods. Think about that. These societies believed so strongly in the power of sacrifice that they willingly gave up their leaders, their most valuable people, to save everyone else. The Tollund Man's peaceful expression suddenly makes sense. He wasn't a terrified victim. He was a willing participant in what he believed was the ultimate act of devotion. His death would bring fertility to the fields, success in war, protection from disasters. The bog became his temple, the peat his eternal coffin. And in a way, he achieved immortality, not through avoiding death, but by embracing it so completely that his sacrifice echoes across 2,400 years. Today, Tollund Man's head rests in a museum in Denmark, his face so perfectly preserved that visitors often gasp when they see him. Children ask if he's sleeping. Adults are unsettled by how human he looks, how they can see themselves in his features. But he's not alone in his eternal vigil. Across Northern Europe, over 2,000 bog bodies have been discovered. Each one a story, each one a sacrifice, each one a window into a world where death was not an ending, but a transformation. Modern forensic techniques continue to reveal new secrets. We now know what they ate, how they lived, even what diseases they suffered from. We can trace their movements in their final days, analyze the pollen in their hair to know what season they died. Yet for all our scientific advancement, the biggest mystery remains unsolved. What did they see in those final moments? What thoughts went through Tollund Man's mind as the rope tightened around his neck? Did he truly believe his death would save his people? And in some cosmic sense, did it? The bog has given up many of its secrets, but it guards the most important one jealously. The peace on Tollund Man's face suggests he found something in that moment. Acceptance, purpose, maybe even transcendence. Something that our modern world, for all its safety and certainty, struggles to understand. The bog people force us to confront an uncomfortable truth, that our ancestors were capable of both incredible brutality and profound faith. They lived in a world where death had meaning, where sacrifice could save entire civilizations. If this story has left you as haunted as it left me, hit that like button and let me know in the comments. Do you think the bog people were victims of primitive superstition, or were they onto something deeper about the nature of sacrifice and meaning? And what other ancient mysteries would you like me to uncover? Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell, because every week we're diving into the darkest corners of history to uncover the stories that textbooks won't tell you. The past is full of secrets, and some of them are still watching.